Today our topic is the most misunderstood Stoic concepts. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that has become very popular in recent years, but many people misunderstand its core ideas. They think Stoicism is about being emotionless, suppressing feelings, or just toughing it out when life gets hard. But this is not true. Stoicism is much deeper and more practical than that. It is about understanding life, accepting what we cannot control, and focusing on what we can control. It teaches us how to live a good life, even when things are difficult. Let's look at some of the most misunderstood Stoic concepts and see what they really mean. The first misunderstood concept is the idea that Stoics don't feel emotions. People often think Stoicism is about being cold, distant, or unfeeling. But this is wrong. Stoics do feel emotions. They are human, just like everyone else. The difference is that Stoics try not to let their emotions control them. They believe emotions are natural, but they also believe we can choose how to respond to them. For example, if something bad happens, a Stoic might feel sad or angry, but they won't let that sadness or anger take over their life. Instead, they will try to understand why they feel that way and decide what to do next. Stoicism is not about ignoring emotions. It's about managing them in a healthy way. Another misunderstood concept is the idea of indifference. In Stoicism, the word indifferent does not mean not caring. It means recognizing that some things are not as important as we think they are. Stoics divide the world into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot control. Things we can control are our own thoughts, actions, and choices. Things we cannot control are everything else, like the weather, other people's opinions, or whether we get a promotion at work. Stoics say we should focus on what we can control and be indifferent to what we cannot control. This doesn't mean we don't care about these things at all. It just means we don't let them control our happiness. For example, a Stoic might want to get a promotion, but they won't be devastated if they don't get it. They will focus on doing their best work and let go of the outcome. The third misunderstood concept is the idea of accepting fate. Some people think Stoicism is about giving up and accepting whatever happens without trying to change it. But this is not true. Stoics believe in taking action and doing our best to improve our lives. However, they also understand that not everything will go the way we want. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes things happen that are beyond our control. When this happens, Stoics say we should accept it and move forward. This doesn't mean we stop trying or give up on our goals. It means we accept that we cannot control everything and focus on what we can do. For example, if a Stoic loses their job, they won't spend all their time complaining or blaming others. They will accept the situation, look for a new job, and focus on what they can do to improve their life. The fourth misunderstood concept is the idea of virtue. In Stoicism, virtue is the most important thing in life. But many people don't understand what this means. They think virtue is about being perfect or following strict rules. But in Stoicism, virtue is about living a good life and being a good person. It means being honest, kind, courageous, and wise. It means doing what is right, even when it is hard. Stoics believe that if we live with virtue, we will find true happiness, no matter what happens in our lives. They say that external things, like money, fame, or power, are not as important as our own character. For example, a Stoic might not have a lot of money, but if they are kind and honest, they will still feel fulfilled. On the other hand, someone who has a lot of money but is dishonest or cruel will not be truly happy. The fifth misunderstood concept is the idea of preparation for hardship. Some people think Stoicism is about expecting the worst and always being ready for disaster. But this is not the whole story. Stoics do believe in preparing for challenges, but not because they are pessimistic. They do it because they know life is unpredictable, and being prepared helps us stay strong when things go wrong. Stoics practice something called negative visualization. which means imagining bad things that could happen. This might sound depressing, but it's actually a way to appreciate what we have and be ready for whatever comes our way. For example, a Stoic might imagine losing their job or getting sick. This doesn't mean they want these things to happen, but by thinking about them, they can be better prepared and more grateful for what they have right now. The sixth misunderstood concept is the idea of self-denial. Some people think Stoics don't enjoy life, or that they give up all pleasures. But this is not true. Stoics believe in enjoying life, but they also believe in moderation. They say we should not become too attached to material things, or let our desires control us. For example, a Stoic might enjoy a good meal, but they won't overeat or spend all their money on expensive food. They understand that too much of anything can be harmful, and they try to find a balance. Stoics also believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external things. So, while they might enjoy the good things in life, they don't depend on them for their happiness. The seventh misunderstood concept is the idea of detachment. People often think Stoics don't care about their relationships or that they avoid getting close to others. But this is not the case. Stoics value their relationships and believe in being kind and compassionate. However, they also understand that people and relationships can change. They know that we cannot control other people, and sometimes we might lose someone we love. Because of this, Stoics try to appreciate their relationships without becoming too attached. For example, a Stoic might love their family deeply, but they also understand that their family members are human and might make mistakes. They won't let these mistakes ruin their relationships or their happiness. The eighth misunderstood concept is the idea of control. Stoics talk a lot about controlling our thoughts and actions. But some people think this means we should try to control everything in our lives. This is not what Stoics mean. They say we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. For example, we can control how we treat others, but we cannot control how they treat us. We can control our own efforts, but we cannot control the results. Stoics believe that trying to control everything is a waste of time and energy. Instead, we should focus on what we can do and accept what we cannot change. In conclusion, Stoicism is a powerful philosophy that can help us live better lives, but it is often misunderstood. It is not about being emotionless, indifferent, or detached. It is not about giving up or being pessimistic. It is about understanding life, accepting what we cannot control, and focusing on what we can control. It is about living with virtue, finding balance, and appreciating what we have. Stoicism teaches us to be strong, kind, and wise, no matter what challenges we face. By understanding these concepts, we can use Stoicism to improve our lives and find true happiness. Remember, Stoicism is not about being perfect or avoiding emotions. It is about being human, learning from our experiences, and growing stronger every day.